Well, obviously, because our role as law enforcement would be our high crime areas. I mean, we're always trying to impact those communities. We're trying to change the balance in any small geographic area to make sure that people are working hard each and every day to make a difference in their community, as opposed to working hard each and every day to move out of that neighborhood. And that's a very delicate balance. So you need to provide the services necessary to keep that balance, because once that gets out of kilter and you got more non-law abiding citizens than you have law abiding citizens, you've effectively lost that geographic area. So we work hard each and every day, understanding that's the mission, to empower our citizens to make a difference each and every day.
The people of Jefferson Parish are scared to leave their homes due to the crime in Jefferson Parish, even though I know you said that the crime is down. In your opinion, where are the high crime areas, and what are your plans to reduce the crime in those areas?
Back in the 90s, we identified 17 neighborhoods that were effectively the high crime areas in Jefferson Parish. There were 3 on the East Bank and 14 on the West Bank. When you look at the characteristics of those neighborhoods, it's about all that we have talked about through this interview, about overrepresentation of the lower socioeconomic group, about rental properties, not stability, not ownership of properties, neighborhoods that have a very transient population. So you don't have stakeholders in that community. You don't have the people working there each and every day to make a difference. They don't care. It's just a place to land. They're already thinking about the next place that they're going to land. They're not setting their roots in the community. You find that in all of the high crime areas, with few exceptions. And so the reality is that's what's driving it. In some of those neighborhoods, there are folks that fear letting their kids go out. There are gunshots that ring out, weekly in those neighborhoods. We have strategically placed enhanced patrols. We've placed heightened technology in those areas to try and affect change. We have seen reduction in crime numbers in those areas. I believe it's a little bit of what we're doing there, but I think it's more about empowering those folks living in the community, developing that trust, because they know who the offenders are.
Yeah.
I just need them to tell me.
Yeah.
They know who fits and doesn't fit in their neighborhood better than I do. We just need to make sure there's an open line of communication for them to share that information with us. And we've been doing this for a number of years, and it's cyclical, depending on who stays and who moves out. We've been fortunate, though, because we have significant stakeholders in each one of those neighborhoods that still, every day, believe that it can be the place that it was 20 years ago, and want to affect change.
Is there a hotline where someone can call in if they see someone in their neighborhood that
we encourage everyone to call 911,
okay.
And if you want to remain anonymous, you tell them, I want to remain anonymous. Okay. I've actually fired people in 911 that when they fill out that information on the computer screen or manually, and they reveal the identity of the person that wants to remain anonymous, they get fired. That is a mistake that we do not tolerate. Going back to what I said about managing and massaging the public's trust, if they're willing to step out and share the information with us, we need to make sure that we're not going to make an error in that regard, because the consequence can be disastrous.
Sheriff Norman, this is the last question. How can the 504 Source Hip Hop Magazine assist in the fight to deter crime?
Well, I think the very fact that you came out and interviewed me today is a start. I mean, in getting the community leaders to share their views and with 504 Source and to spread the word about what's accepted and what's not accepted, to speak out. Oftentimes what frustrated Sheriff Lee more than anything else is that in the African American community, a lot of folks never stepped up and spoke out about black on black crime. The reality is that it's collectively and collaboratively together of not willing to accept anything less. When you look at all the changes that have gone on in the city of New Orleans since Katrina, it's been community leaders, not government or political leaders, that have led those initiatives. It's been the folks that have said, we're not going to accept this any longer. We are going to affect change, and we're going to affect it now. Now, I was excited about doing this with you because a lot of your listeners, the hip-hop society, sometimes is not the law-abiding members of society. When I listen to rap songs and hip-hop songs that are talking about, being disrespectful to females, raping females, doing this, doing that, there's no place for that. Why would we advocate that? I think 504, if y'all play that music or whatever, it may be that you may not want to play that music. Because I think that's a level of disrespect that's out there in the community that we should not be willing to tolerate. We should not tolerate causing harm to anybody and memorializing that in a song. For what reason? What's the purpose? I mean, have we degraded to such an animalistic fashion that we're going to talk about, this kill or be killed mentality and glorify it in a song? That's what our kids are listening to. Now, I'm not one that says that, all of this stuff is why kids go bad. And there's no one contributing factor. But if every time we turn on the radio or pull up websites on the internet, we're pounded with negative connotations of everything, I don't see anything positive in that. And I think there's a role for folks in the hip-hop community or rap community or otherwise to be a lot more proactive in censoring, and that's what it is, censoring what they're willing to listen to and what they're willing to market. Now, I understand that it's all financially driven, but that is one of the compromises that we're going to have to make in our society and moving forward, that we're not going to make these types of activities and spoken words glamorous for any reason.
Sheriff Norman, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For the interview. Carolyn Foster, 504 Source Magazine. Thank you. If it's real, then it's hip-hop. It's 504 Source Magazine.
I'm clicking with the 504 Source. I'm clacking with the 504. I'm representing New Orleans with the 504 Source Magazine. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. 504 Source Magazine.